Once upon a time there was a brave girl called Lola Grace. She was on the way to see her brother Renan Morris when she decided to take a short through Joker Lake's woods. It wasn't long before Lola got lost. She looked around, but all she could see were trees. Nervously, she fell into her bag for her favorite toy, Molly, but Molly wasn't nowhere to be found. Lola began to panic. She felt sure that she packed Molly to make Mother worse. She was starting to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, she saw a white tortoise dressed in a pink coat disappearing into the trees. How odd, thought Lola. For the want of anything better to do, she decided to follow the peculiarly dressed tortoise. Perhaps it could tell him the way out of the forest. Eventually, Lola reached a clearing. She found herself surrounded by houses made from different sorts of food. There was a house made of carrots, a house made from chocolate, a house made from cupcakes, and a house made from pancakes. Lola could feel her tummy rumbling. She looked at the house, but nothing eased her hunger. "Hello," she called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Lola looked at the roof and the closed house and wondered if it could be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously, it could be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it could be considered acceptable to nibble at the odd feature of leak of the wood, fitting in a time of need. A cockle broke through the air, giving Lola a free breeze jumping into the space from the house. She was carrying a case. In that case was Molly. "Molly, cheers, Lola!" She turned into the witch. "That's my toy. That's my toy." The witch just shrunk. "Give me Molly back!" cried Lola. "No, you're Nelly," said the witch. "At least let Molly out of the cage." Before she could reply, 3 white stories rushed from a footpath on the other side of the clearing. Lola recognized one of the picket coat that she'd seen earlier. The witch seemed to recognize him too. "Hello, big tortoise," said the witch. "Good morning." The tortoise noticed Molly. "Who is this?" "That's Molly," explained the witch. "Oh, Molly, will you look lovely in my house?" "Give it to me," demanded the tortoise. The witch shook her head. "Molly's staying with me." Excuse me," Lola interrupted. "Molly lives with me, and no in a cage." Big Tortoise ignored her. "Is there nothing you're afraid?" he asked the witch. The witch thought for a moment, then said, "I do like to be entertained. I'll realize him to anybody who can eat a whole front door." Big Tortoise looked at the house made of pancakes and said, "No problem, I would eat an entire house made of pancakes if I wanted." "That's nothing," said the next tortoise. "I could eat 2 houses." "There's no need to show off," said the witch. "Just eat one from the door and I'll let you have Molly." Lola watched, feeling very worried. She didn't want the witch give Molly to be a big tortoise. She didn't think that Molly would like living with a white tortoise, away from her house and her other toys. The other 2 tortoises watching while Big Tortoise put on his back withdrew a knife and a fork from his pocket. "I earned this whole house," said the Big Tortoise. "Just watch it." Big Tortoise pulled out the corner from the front and the house made of chocolates. He gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more and more. Eventually, Big Tortoise started to get bigger, just a little bigger at first, but after a few minutes, 4 fourths of chocolate, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was every bit around. "I don't feel good," said the Big Tortoise. Suddenly, he started to roll and grow so round they could longer balance. "Help!" he cried, as he rolled off down the slope into the forest. Big Tortoise never finished eating the front door made of chocolates, and Molly remained trapped in the witch cage. A brain tortoise stepping up and approached the house made of cupcakes. "I eat this house," said the brain tortoise. "Just watch." A brain tortoise poured in the corner from the house and made a cupcake. She gulped it down, smiling, and went from back more and more. After a while, brain tortoise started to look a little crazy. She grew greener and greener. A woodcutter walking into the clearing. What's this bush doing here?" he asked. "I'm not bush, I'm a tortoise," said the brain tortoise. It talks," exclaimed the woodcutter. "Those taking brushes are the worst kind. I'd better take it away before somebody gets hurt." "No way," cried the brain tortoise. As the woodcutter picked her up, but the woodcutter ignored her cries and carried the tortoise away under his arm. A brain tortoise never finished eating the front door made of cupcakes, and Molly remained trapped in the witch cage. Little Tortoise stepped up and approached the house made of pancakes. "I eat this house," said the little tortoise. "Just watch." Little Tortoise pulled out the corner from the door house made of cupcakes it down, smiling, and went back for more and more and more. After 5 or 6 platefuls, Little Tortoise started to feel good and comfortable on the spot. He stopped eating pancakes for a moment, then grabbed another fork. Before he could eat it, they came a mighty roll of bone broom louder than rockets taking off, propelled Little Tortoise into the sky. "Ash!" he cried the little tortoise. "I'm scared of heights." Little Tortoise was never seen again. Little Tortoise never finished eating the front door made of cupcakes, and Molly remained trapped in the witch cage. "That's it," said the witch. "I win. I get to keep Molly." "Not so fast," said Lola. "There is still one front door to go." To the front door of the house made of carrots. "I haven't had turn yet." "I don't have given a jump turn," laughed the witch. "I gained my rolls." The woodcutter voices crying throughout the forest. "I think should be give her just a chance. It's only fair." "Fine," said the witch. "But you say what happened to the tortoise? She won't last long." "I'll be right back," said Lola. "What?" said the witch. Where is your sense of impatience? I thought you wanted Molly back." Lola ignored her wish and grabbing a helipad stick. She came back from the clearing and, stealing a small campfire carefully, she broke off a piece of the door in the house made of carrots and tossed it and gave it to the fire. When it had cooked the bullet just a little, she took a bite. She quickly devoured the work piece. Lola sat down on the nearby lawn. "You failed," cracked the witch. You were supposed to eat your door." "I haven't finished," explained Lola. "I'm just waiting for my food to go down." When Lola Fuzz had digested, he broke another piece of the door made from carrots. "One more." Eventually, after several sittings, Lola was down a final piece of the door made of carrots. Carefully, she toasted and allowed it to cool just a little. She finished her final course, and Lola had eaten an entire front door in the house made from carrots. The witch stamped her foot angrily. "You must be tricking me," she said. "I don't reward cheating." "I don't think so," said the voice of the woodcutter. He walked back into the clearing, curling his eggs. this little girl from one fair and square. Now have over, Molly, or I will chop your broomstick in half. The witch looked horrified, and she grabbed the broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Lola hurried over the grave with Molly, checking that her favorite toy was all right. Fortunately, Molly was unharmed. Lola thanked the woodcutter, grabbed a quick souvenir, and hurried to meet Morena. It was starting to get dark. When Lola got to Morena's house, her brother threw her arms around her. "I was so worried," cried Morena. "You are very late." As Lola described her day, she couldn't tell Morena that believed her, so grabbed a napkin from the pocket. "What's that?" asked Morena. Lola unwrapped a doughnut made from chocolate. "Pour it," she said. Morena fell off the chair. That's the end.